Hey, good afternoon, everyone. It's Harry from Hasbro TV back with Eugene again. Um, so you got your pre-match person. There's the same as the post-match person this week. So Eugene, first of all, how you doing?
I'm well. I'm well. Yeah, I'm used to it, right? I told you when I started doing YouTube, I already told you I've reached the level of Zen. Whatever happens with Spurs doesn't affect me that much anymore, right? Because if we win, then I'll be happy, right? Because I know where the problems are. Okay, so it is what it is.
Okay, so I thought we'll get straight into it. Because you messaged me pretty soon after this came out. Thoughts on the starting lineup? First, going to touch on Son came straight back in. Obviously the fullbacks, Davies and Emerson, we'll touch on them a bit. But what do you think of the starting lineup? Did you think it was good enough to win the game on paper?
To tell the truth, right? We in the preview we were already having this dilemma of what's going to happen, who's going to start at the back. We're losing Udogi and Horo, right? We had so many permutations coming out, here, there, everywhere. And then I said, watch him do it, right? He'll put Davis and Emerson on.
Yeah.
Oh, so it is what it is, right? That shows how that shows what kind of quality our squad is. So,
But do you think?
Yeah.
Obviously, you expect him to play Davis and Emerson, but did you think he would change it tactically at all? Because Davis and Emerson really.
Ange never changes his.
What I'm saying is, because obviously we'll go into this a bit later about his tactics, but because it's the same every game. But what I'm saying is, if I was a manager and I had Davis and Emerson, I had to play them at fullback, I would try to play a different way. I would have tell them to not play in third. I'll tell them to play further back, more compact, and I'd use Son and who was the other wing? Kulusevski.
Yeah, I know, but
even though Kulusevski tends to cut in, play wider, and then what it is, you should actually stretch your position.
You end up playing like Poch. I understand. You get what I'm saying? When Poch had, Danny Rose and Walker.
You don't have the fullbacks capable.
I understand that, but the problem is that Emerson can't play that way. Remember? He can bring the ball.
I'm saying not to invert. I'm saying just play.
No, not invert. Like a normal wingback that goes out instead of coming back in. Like the normal wingbacks that fly out. The left back that flies out, and wingbacks that fly out in the way like.
I'm saying the wingbacks, instead of them flying out, I'm saying them to play as like an actual four, and then you just let the others play like a 4 and the 1, obviously the keeper, and you let the other players. You had maybe the holding player, and the rest just attack.
First is that the two fullbacks don't invert.
Correct? They just play as normal.
They play as fullbacks, like Walker and Rose does, and
not like Walker and Rose, because they don't have the capability to play like Walker and Rose.
Okay, so they don't go up.
No, I just said the 4 just stays there. Maybe Romero does the rod run, but and then you play the wingers. You play them as actual wingers.
Harry, you should know it. It wouldn't have mattered. You get what I'm saying?
But no, I'm just saying. Shouldn't he not adapt to his personnel or not?
The thing is that okay. Ange has got a style of playing, and he plays that style. All right. We've been saying we've been praising him because he's given us back a style, right? Sort of an identity, attacking football. That is the way he plays. Yes. So for him at this stage of his career at Spurs, like I've been telling you, remember experimenting.
But we're not even experimenting.
Yeah, it was. Bro, this was the biggest experiment.
How's the experiment? Everyone knew he was going to be rubbish. Emerson was one of the worst players on the pitch.
That is to write the confirmation letter, okay? Davis and Emerson, rubbish in between.
But then you could have put, like we were talking about playing Davies as a left centre back and moving Van der Ven.
I said that too. Yeah.
Because Davies, for me, in the system, he's only good as a centre half. He can't invert. He can't really. Yeah. I think
okay. I gave that suggestion, right? Then I went back and watched a few shows. Stel from Tottenham Wales said he wouldn't put a VDV on the left because if VDV was on the left, right, it would leave a gap right through. Yes. So he would rather have VDV still in the middle. Yes, so at least the gap he can still cover this way, right? But what I saw on that first half, right, VDV covered Davis's ass numerous times.
10 times.
Yeah. Until I think. When the second half came, the instructions was because we were 1-0 down. Instructions was go all out and get that goal, correct? But some way, what miracle without anything happening, we scored that goal. You understand? It was from a throw in, it went, and then Becky just bulldozed through everybody and scored that goal. Not the goalkeeper and all that, right? Okay, fair. Then after that, we dominated the game, remember? Right? They sat back, we attack. So how would you say that at this moment in time, we're having something like 60% possession, 70% possession, but our shots on goals are so low.
But isn't it because of the delivery in the final third is not very good? Because
that's why that's the thing with Spurs now, right? After losing Mr. Kane to another club, that has shown us a big glare in our attacking capabilities.
But even Son was poor yesterday, Eugene. He
was
rubbish.
True.
Like
okay,
Maddison, I love Maddison, but he was rubbish as well. He was one of his worst games.
It was a synchronized rubbish team.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is, like, it's not just that. I just think I would have. See, there's two things. I have theories anyway that I would play against a low block. I'd either give them the ball because they'll have to eventually push up, so you can leave more gaps in behind, and you become the counter-attacking team, or you either play. Because obviously, so people used to playing some inverted fullbacks and stuff like that. You need to do something different. Maybe go 4-4-2. I know it sounds crazy.
Okay,
and play a lot of high crosses, and skip the bypass the midfield.
But the problem is that number one, we don't have that play that striker that comes up and hits and be strong.
We do have that. Richarlison. At least he's tall.
Richarlison, bro. Richarlison, when the wind blows, he falls over. He's the new Brian Hill.
No. Richarlison at least he can head the ball. It's basically his strongest attribute.
I know, but the problem is that when why we can't do that is very simple. When our wingers get down, right, and when they cross the ball, Richarlison is still at the D of the penalty box. He hasn't arrived yet.
He's waiting for a cross.
Yeah, he hasn't arrived yet. He's too late.
Can't cross. Werner cuts
and okay, our players can't cross. Okay, then. So everything's compound, you see. Players can't.
Oh,
is it you? Let me see.
Oh, you were frozen a second.
Is it me or you?
Yeah.
I think
I don't know. You froze for a second. So.
I don't know. You were frozen.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Maybe it's my internet. I don't know.
Oh, just to let you guys know, right? Sheffield United has got a red card. Yeah.
Have they?
Early red card. Yeah. And Brighton is like, knocking on the door.
I mean, they beat us almost beat us last week.
Yeah. Okay, talk about the starting lineup, right? Apart from the back four, that shaky thing that we all know, basically our front six were more or less our selected normal first teamers. Yes, And remember, Brighton 1-0.
That was inevitable already.
Wait, goal, yeah. Goal, yes. It's a goal. All right, that was it. Where were we? Yeah, the starting lineup. Our front six, remember I told you that all the other coming back from international duties and injuries and all that, they didn't gel. Right? They didn't gel at all. And Richarlison keep giving the ball away.
We have a problem with Bissouma.
Yeah, Bissouma looks a bit laggy. Not strong enough, weak. Right? Ball stolen out of him. I mean, we don't see that in him earlier in the season. Remember? Bissouma was strong and he held the ball. Nobody could get the ball off him. These past few games, I mean, the game that we saw against Wolves, he was easy meat. Right? Yeah. When he got pressured, he lost the ball. I mean, most of the times. So that's a scary thing. I don't know, right, Harry? I'm saying, let's give this scenario in this way. If we had started this season in this way, in the last 5 games we played, right? We started in this way, right? A lot of Spurs fans would have accepted it.
And would have been gone probably by Christmas.
No, a lot of Spurs fans would have accepted it first. You guys, Then we go on a run, then we will be, look, that the progress is being shown. You know. Then we dip back down again.
But then the question I ask you is that the first 10 games, were they papering over cracks?
The first 10 games, paper it up on the cracks.
Period,
One. That's the first thing. Second thing is that Ange is new in the Premier League. His style of football, nobody's actually encountered, studied yet. So 10, 12 games, it takes people time to study, analyze what Ange does, right? And we all know, right? Ange has inherited a squad of players of what level kind of squad of players. So now, somehow or another, in a magical kind of sense, the first 12 games we had, we didn't lose. Okay, right, and played entertaining football. Okay, good entertaining football.
Attacking football.
Attacking football, entertaining football. Everybody enjoyed it. And when the injury came, that
Maddison, yeah,
the cracks all reappeared, right? And now these players are coming back. It will take them time to meld again, right? To shut up all the cracks. But like I'm sure a lot of the Spurs fandom, right? They will be very surprised. Why didn't Dragusin even get a single?
Yeah, I was going to ask you this. Do you think he's an Ange signing or not?
That I'm not sure right now.
Because he hasn't used him. He hasn't started him.
Yeah, he hasn't started him, but he's used him as a peripheral kind of player when we were comfortable.
Games, he came on for 10 minutes.
Yeah, whenever we were comfortable, Dragusin will come on and bolster up the defense and all that. But at this moment in time, a lot of clubs, a lot of fans will always say, "Is that player his signing? This manager wanted that player. Blah 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 blah. Is it a club signing? Is it a manager signing? Right? Sometimes you will just have to say it, right? Whatever tools you've been given, you have to use them, right? Whether you get the results you want or not,
down to you.
That is that's a totally different story, right? We've been through it, okay? We've seen managers that come, been giving the players, get results, right, to a certain level. Then when we want to push on to the next level, the managers, they're like, the rug is pulled under them and they get nothing. Okay, we've seen that. So at this moment in time, Ange has said that the players that passes through that door and become a Spurs players and plays with us is all under his approval, because he has to say that, right? Because I think the way Ange manages his football
clubs,
his football, I call hierarchy, is that he will be responsible for everything. Right? So there's a lot of logic to it, right? Like Timo Werner, it's a club signing. We all know that, because number one, 0 transfer fee. Okay, pay the wages. Wages also, I'm not sure how many percent we're paying. Are we paying up to 80% or 90%?
Aren't we? Or not?
We're paying all of his wages. Okay.
He's not on a lot though, I don't think, Werner. I think he's
about 100 plus, maybe.
Yeah, which is not nowadays. That's not really.
Yeah, 100 plus euro, maybe. Maybe it's about 90.
I'm saying it's not that much.
Yeah. It's not. You're not signing a Mbappe, right, on loan. You can say no.
Mbappe's coming in the summer, obviously. So.
Yeah. Mbappe's coming summer. Yeah. Levy's going to pay Mbappe 750 million pounds per week, tax free. Yeah.
Sell the stadium. We'll put it down the park and we'll have Mbappe.
Yeah. We'll have Mbappe. Yeah. Mbappe will play in the. Yeah. But as we go, we know the development of what's happening. So now the only thing is that my biggest hope now is that we have to stop all the things going around about the managers and all that. Is give this manager that we have now a chance, because he's more or less shown us that he's capable of it. But sooner or later, a lot of people has actually said that he's not what Spurs fans actually think he is, right? And he is going to be found out soon. So all Spurs fans in their heart will say that we will want to prove you guys wrong, right? That Ange is good for us. So as a Spurs fan, I would want that too.
Right? Everyone wants that. I don't want him to fail. I don't want to.
Nobody wants it. Yeah.
But don't you think? Because these managers, and this Conte was similar. So I think different. I think Jose used to change things, to be fair to him, which is why I probably was more Jose, and I didn't want him to get sacked. But with someone like Conte, very stubborn in their ways, Ange is the same, very stubborn in their ways. But don't you think that even if they, for one game, or say 5 games a year, 6 games, 10 games a year maybe, because we'll get this include Europe, they change the style based on like say we're playing a low block, we're playing a big game, we suddenly play counter-attacking.
Okay.
Don't you think?
Okay.
Do these managers think, Eugene, that they'll get like chastised in the post-match or something? Or you change your style today, as if it's like
no,
a crime?
The thing is not about
like,
you see whatever you see. We are all human. You can say now. Whatever decisions we make, right? It's like what I'm saying now. With Spurs is Ange has taken full responsibility of the football. You can say so. Good, bad, ugly, smelly, right? Whatever. It's Ange's responsibility.
No, what I'm saying, Eugene, do these managers think, especially I'm also talking about Ange, that if they deviate from their style, that number one, either they don't think it will work. Okay, maybe that's the reason why. Or do they think that the media will chastise them for saying, "Oh, well, Ange went to in the papers say the next day"? Do they fear that? Oh, the next day, Ange threw away his style.
It doesn't matter.
And
I don't think
boring 0-0 draw at Stamford Bridge, for example. I don't know.
No, I don't think the managers will be worried about what the media
so why
say.
Doesn't he change it? It's because it's really stubborn. I mean,
all right. I will explain this to you, Has, why he doesn't change. He doesn't change is because, like I'm saying, this is his first season with Spurs. This could be his experimental season with Spurs. You can say he's pushing the players that he has to a certain limit, right? Don't forget, Ange is coming to the Premier League. He's not familiar with the style of football in the Premier League, right? The guile of the managers of Premier League, the intelligence needed, the speed, the strength, and all that. So now these group players that he has is his part of his maybe his analysis, right? Now he knows that okay, VDV has proven he is useful to his style. His style. Star, Udogi, Poro, proven his style. Vicario, all right,
can do it.
His style, okay. What about the rest of them? Madison, new. Bissouma, right? And the thing is that while we know those who can't play his style are not even in the squad. That's why.
Surely it's not rocket science that David Emerson wouldn't have worked yesterday.
I know, but the thing is that maybe, like I said, he's using all these as experiments. Remember, we did the preview show? All these as experiments to prove that himself and to prove that you know who, right? These two are rubbish. Please, no need. If whoever wants them, get them, right? And to tell the truth, maybe if you want to keep them, right? But I still need two to cover that position. You get what I'm saying? So
I actually think two fullbacks are more important than a centre back in the summer because
to me at this moment of time, yes,
they do so much running. They do so much running, and you look at Porro because of his side. I argue is weaker. He covers even more because of Johnson and Kulusevski.
Yeah,
Kulusevski's just wasting of the ball. I know he's done these goals and assists, but I just think he slows down our play. And obviously Johnson's just not very good at the moment, and so I think Porro has to cover even more. With the left-hand side, I think Udogie has it a little bit better because at least Son, how much I criticize Son, but at least he comes back.
There is one part about yesterday that gave a little bit of doubt in my mind is that the choice of substitutes I think was not that weird, right, because maybe we'll talk about it later, right? And that is one thing now I'm seeing is that maybe that is Ange has got something lacking there, or why is he still going in this way? Like you said, why didn't he change his tactic? It's very simple. Is that in the second half, Wolves were 80% at the low block, 90% at the low block, right? And when you brought up the substitutes in the 71st minute with Brennan Johnson, how are you going to use Brennan Johnson in the low block? They ain't attacking us. Brennan Johnson needs space to run into. If I was Johnson, I would have brought on Lo Celso and Bryan Hill. These are the players who take on players, right? Instead of giving Wolves a chance to have a straight back line, if a player is dribbling against you, it will attract the defenders away. Because what we saw on yesterday is that Wolves held a five or six back line straight.
Oh yeah, they were.
Yeah. So the thing is that if we don't get someone to run against this back line to create chaos, to distraction, to create space, right? They are so comfortable because we kept playing what called the horseshoe. You know, back and forth, you, back and forth, and that's why I was surprised with Son. Yeah, that's why I was surprised with Son yesterday. It was so frustrating to see Son, right? Get the ball on the left-hand side, deep down, but then come back up again and pass it back up. He did that so many times, and I was like going, what are you?
So you know
doing?
where I sit, Eugene? I'm west, so Son was below me, and during that period, I was screaming, cross the ball, take him on, and then he was just like cutting back.
Yeah, but then I understand why he's doing it, because when he looks across,
there's no one there.
There's a line of 6 of red shirts there, and there's no white in there.
You say that, but I would argue that we got success doing it, whipping the ball in, because Porro, we got the assist for that Liverpool goal in the last minute because he actually whipped the ball.
All right, but wait, that you're talking not this squad of players playing it on that day. You had Porro, right? If we had Porro and Udogie, that game would have been different, right? The confidence of the midfield would have been different.
But this is why I would have pushed that crossing and creativity part more onto the attackers and shifted to the defensive side. So I would have, like I said, I would have had a line of the 4. If you're going to insist on playing Davies and Emerson, they're not going to be inverted fullbacks. You play more compact and maybe push the wingers further wide and put more balls into the box, especially with Richarlison up front.
Yeah, but the thing is that won't be Ange ball, right? So
I know, but that's like what I'm saying is, if he did that yesterday, I wouldn't have been like his style doesn't work or something just because for one game he changed it, just for 1 or 2 games.
Harry, have you ever seen Ange change his tactics?
No, but isn't that the problem then?
So, have you ever seen Ange change his tactics? Right? When it works, okay, yeah, when it works, it's brilliant, right? When it doesn't work, then this comes out. Has Ange been found out?
Yeah.
To tell the truth, right? Every manager has always been found out. Yes or no? The job of the opposition is to find you out. Right? What's your weaknesses? What you can do? What you can't do? My like I've been saying, I saw Ange's weakness on this Wolves game. In this Wolves game was when the 71st minute when he made his changes. Right, he brought in Brennan Johnson. Right, Brennan Johnson was a useless substitute. Number 1, Brennan Johnson doesn't take on his man. Number 2, Brennan Johnson can't cross. And there's no space for him to run to. They're playing a low block. Where is he going to run to? There's nothing to run to. If you're playing an attacking team, Brennan Johnson has a space to run to. So that's why I said, if Bryan Hill came on, right, Bryan Hill would have got down the wing, took on his man, cut back inside, draw people to him, space. But I don't know.
But then, what I was arguing about his style myself is that you say the wingers come inside, but then the fullbacks come inside. So there's no, even if you draw players in, say into this area just outside the box, there's no one really overlapping because the fullbacks are inside as well. So how does this work?
The thing is that
it's so congested.
That's why the thing is that you don't have that player who can play that magical ball or dribble, that magical player that can dribble past someone to create the chaos. To shoot and to create chaos in a situation. If even 10 people stood on a goal line, right, you will still find a way to score. You get what I'm saying?
But I actually think this system worked better if we had, obviously this ain't going to happen, I keep going on about this, but Bell and Lennon back in 2010, we had proper wingers, and then you had the full. I could understand in that point with the fullbacks converting, because at least you would stretch the pitch. With Ange's system, they all come inside, so it's like we're trying to walk it into the net because there's so much area there. We're trying to.
Yeah, but the thing is that when this thing has Ange been found out, but this could be a phase of what Ange is trying to do. Yes, at this moment, always make them come inside. Then maybe in the next phase, whatever, he plays everybody on the white. We do not know how Ange is going to find a way to, how you say, understand the players, whether their capabilities. For all we know now, right, because of that first half of the season, Ange Ball has actually drained the players out because of his intensity. That's why you see the first half we played, right? We were like walking the ball. When we got the ball, we slowed everything down, right? Wolves went back into their shell, and we were like walking the ball up the field, in the midfield, and then looking left, looking right, pass it here.
Much to my dad's angry dismay because he was screaming at them, "Why so slow?
Move it quick. Why are you so slow? Right? What were you eating today, right?" So Right. Yeah, so the chicken royal is so good, everyone can't move.
Chicken royal. But you know what? Even a lot of people, not just me and you, were worried about our fullbacks, because if he played Davies and Emerson, we knew there was going to be trouble, especially with Neto playing. Neto literally just cooked Emerson the whole game.
I know.
He literally cooked him. If you look at the second goal, he roasted him.
I understand that, but because you know why VDV wasn't there to cover him? Because VDV went to cover space, and he left the job of Emerson to cover Neto. Instead of running towards Neto to attack the ball, Emerson was running into space.
He didn't really close Neto down. He just kind of...
No, that's right. Instead of running towards the ball, where he's running into space. So
I actually think he's worse than Davies, in my opinion. Anyway, Emerson, I think he's worse.
Yeah. No, I mean, if you compare, right? Of course, Davies is like more productive. In the first half, there was a few moments I thought, oh, Davies is good. He's coming back, he's helping out. And then he's getting into the attacking positions. But sometimes his crosses are shit, right? There was one. I'm not even talking about the headed goal thing, right? He had a chance to actually equalize, right? There was one part in the first half when he got the ball came to him, and I think he took a touch, and when he smashed it, the ball went out, right? That is Davies, because Davies is not a proven goal scorer.
He missed that chance at the end, so
so we know now, right? So, and to tell the truth, right, everybody knows that edge ball, right? Everyone on the pitch must be able to score goals when they're given a chance. So I guess slowly we'll work them out, right? And honestly, to tell the truth, Madison as the creative player in that 11, 10 outfield players, right? 11, 10 outfield players. What did he create?
Nothing.
He didn't create anything. Son couldn't do anything, wasn't doing anything. It's like most of our team didn't want to do anything. The only person who wanted to do something was actually, right?
I thought Van der Ven was probably our best player.
Van der Ven, Daki. You know who I said were the best players, right? I said the ball boys.
The ball boys. So I want to ask you a question, because this is getting ridiculous now.
I know.
Set pieces. Again, we can see the goal from a set piece. They're all ball watching. What's the issue, and how can we fix it?
Well, like I said, they ate too much chicken royale, and they were all just still sleeping at the time. So it is what it is. No, and the worst part is, right, it shouldn't have been a corner. That ball came in, right? It was going out. Richarlison took his
he touched it.
What did he think he was doing? He think he was
Problem is, Eugene, I don't blame Richarlison for that, because really Vicario should have shouted at him that he had nothing around him, because I know, because I played football.
Maybe. Oh, were you able to hear Vicario shout? No, so it's Vicario.
I think it's Vicario. No, someone should have shouted to him, because I'm saying in that area you don't know what's around you. You don't know what's around you. You have to just put it out.
If I'm not mistaken, I think somebody did shout at him. He didn't hear.
Well, I didn't see anyone shout at him, but when I was seeing...
But could you hear someone shouting at him? Were you close by? No. Yeah, so maybe someone shouted at him. The fans would have shouted at him. Leave it!
But none of the fans did that. So
why you want to blame the players and the fans don't see? That's the problem with Spurs fans, right?
Yeah.
We ourselves aren't even helping our own players.
I mean, I said far away. I don't think he would have heard me when I said. But what I'm saying is, from where he was, he didn't really. I don't think he knew what was around him. So he
that's what I'm saying. Touch it out. Harry, that is the quality of players we have.
Yeah, but even someone like Kane would have put it out. I don't think you can blame an attacker for that. If it was a defender, I'd be more.
Because the first goal came from that error because of that corner. While that corner was happening, right? Maybe all of them were still saying, why nobody shouted at Richarlison? Then the ball came in. That's why
they all just talk to each other before the corner came in. Yeah.
My question is, why are we all talking to each other? The game. That's why. Remember what Ange said? We lost what? Discipline. Right? The discipline wasn't there. The focus wasn't there. Right? And to tell you the truth, right? The Wolves, when they fell back into their back line, their focus was perfect.
100%. Yeah.
So what are we going to say, right? So That's the problem of our players. And then when you talk about focus and discipline, maybe the mental fatigue thing is coming in now. Players coming back from injury, players coming back from international games, right? Son and his finger dislocation problem, there were drama behind it. So we're all human.
Drama? I didn't know anything about it. I just
you didn't know about that drama about the finger dislocation?
What happened?
So I don't know. There was a kerfuffle in the Korean squad before the semi-final. The fight and all that. Then Son had to break it. They said Son had to break it up while he was trying to break it up.
Breaking up a fight. Anyway.
Yeah, imagine Son breaking up a fight, and then he dislocated his finger. Right. There's a big issue now in KFA. Right. There are certain fans calling that, and the person involved, you know, who was he? It was Lee Kang-in.
Who's that? Sorry, I don't know.
Lee Kang-in. He's the PSG guy.
Oh, really? Oh.
Yeah.
Does he play? What position does he play?
Striker, I think.
Is he? PSG?
Yeah.
He's Mbappe's replacement.
No, he's Mbappe's, I don't know, Mbappe's whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. So
what? How can we solve this problem? Because
I don't know.
Why are we doing zonal marking? I think zonal marking is the issue.
I know. That's why at the moment now, that's Ange ball. We mark zonally. Okay. Right. And when we mark zonally, I don't think we have players intelligent enough to mark zonally because they don't know where they're supposed to be. So that's the problem. How are we going to solve it? Get smarter players who can mark zonally.
But then isn't that down to the defense and Vicario a bit as well? Because Vicario doesn't.
No, it depends on what kind of set pieces you're talking about, right? You're talking about whether corners, it's a foul set piece. Yeah. I think corners are the worst ones because
more on Ange because we're playing on the high line.
Yeah. Right. But when you're talking, have you not seen our free kicks?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Right. Have you not seen our defending of free kicks? Like it's like exactly 10 yards away from the goal, the ball, where it's and it's so high. So when you leave it so high, right, that means there's a chance of people running through. So unless your offside track is so perfect, then there's no problem. But our offside track, right, our players, you know, they can't even zonal mark. They don't even know how to zonal mark.
How are they going to do an offside trap?
Yeah. So, right. They don't even know where they are. So how are they going to, you know, spring the offside trap, right?
But set pieces is an issue. You want to talk about Ange's subs, so let's talk about Ange's subs.
I was saying Ange's subs, right?
Yeah.
First of all, like I was saying, my anger was not say anger. My confusion on this was that, you know, how would you say when you know that they're playing low block, you bring in Brennan Johnson. Brennan Johnson is totally ineffective, right? Because Brennan Johnson can't take on a player and can't cross in the ball. That's one way. The other thing is that if you actually needed players with guile, right, you would have started the sub with Lo Celso, right? Hill and who else came on the third one?
Højbjerg came on as well.
Sorry, Bentancur.
Yeah, Bentancur came on, yeah.
Right. So the reason bring on Bentancur, Lo Celso, and Hill, right? These three players most probably are players with ball to the feet. So when you take on the ball to the feet kind of thing, you will attract players running to cover positions with the support, and that will create space, right? So
at some point, when he made the first round of substitutions, usually when we're playing 4-4-1-1, and he had Bentancur with Kulusevski in the middle, Son was on the left. Was it Johnson was on the right? And then he had Werner up front with Maddison in the hole, sort of like 4-4-1-1. And then eventually, I think obviously Werner and Son switched later on, but I don't know. I don't know what he was trying. Whilst he changed the formation, I give credit to him for changing it, but the style still was the same. So, like, if you go, I would have gone 4-4-2 and put Richarlison with Son up front.
To tell the truth, right? We knew that
and just lump balls into the box. You know, the old school Richarlison heads it on.
Yeah, I know. But then you see him playing like Sean Dyche, right? You know, get everybody into the box and just lump it in. But what I'm saying is that apart from that, also the players, when you were changing, right? We knew the problem of our squad at this moment is that the confidence put on Davis and Emerson Royal. If the players didn't have that confidence, right, you should have made some shuffle there, right?
The back line, yeah.
The back line first, right? Take off Royal, put on Dragazin or something like that, right, to give some boost to it. But I think the problem actually compounded itself from is because we got our equalizing goal too quick, too early. So that would have covered over the cracks, all right? Because you could have seen their second goal was from a corner. Bissouma loses the ball, right? The pass goes to Neto, all right? And then he goes off with it. And Emerson was left behind to play defender. Imagine that. So last season, last season Emerson had a purple patch. This season, the true Emerson, we're still looking at it. Right?
But even last season when he had this purple patch, I don't even think it was that great.
Yeah, because maybe he had Romero to cover his butt.
At best, Emerson could do the basics. At best. That's not even at his minimum. That's at best.
Yeah, that's right.
If you can't do the basics, then I don't know how this guy's still here. At least with Davies, at least when he plays in defence in the middle, he'll do okay. And that left back, he can do like a short job. But I don't think Emerson can even do that.
Yeah, that's a bit sad too, right? So, and then after that, when you talk about the last two subs that came on, right? We used 5 subs in two situations. It was Højbjerg and the Celso.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
To put Højbjerg at centre back. And then I guess he kind of used him to try and play a bit wide, higher balls. I don't know.
My question is that because by the time they came along, right? It
was too late.
No matter, did he take out Davis or did he take out Emerson?
Emerson.
He took out Emerson for Højbjerg, right?
Yeah, Højbjerg played with Van der Ven in the middle, didn't he?
Yeah. So there was a lot of our weaknesses there too. And then we were more or less quite lucky not to concede another goal, because if there was another high ball coming from the top again or another person chasing, imagine running against Højbjerg.
But then we had to risk it at that point. So even if we conceded, I wouldn't have complained. I would have said that's fair enough. Yeah.
But it is what it is. We lost the game too. I mean, we look at it as an overall performance, right? 90% of our players sucked, right?
Yeah.
Even including our subs, all right? Because usually you will be hoping that your sub will be the guy that actually brings up, the hope, brings the momentum. And everybody came on, they were all like a limp dick,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a sad part. But we're lucky. We have 2 weeks rest, right? Maybe within that 2 weeks, Porro and Udogie will come back. Okay.
Do you know how long they're meant to be out for, Eugene?
I know. I know. I heard Ange talk, right? Porro is muscle strain. 1 to 2 weeks. One to 2 weeks, he'll be ready.
I think he'll be back.
Udogie is a knock, so sometimes knocks can recover within a week or so, right? So
I hope they'll be back for Palace.
Yeah,
Palace will probably have a new manager as well.
Yeah, most probably by then Palace will have a new manager. They will most probably need the new manager bounce, right? And while then we will be getting injured players back again, right? That also shows what happened to Spurs when injured player comes back, right? They are not up to their normal selves, right? The only injured player that came back that looks like their normal self is VDV. Right?
Yeah, he came back pretty strong, hasn't he?
Yeah. Romero is still a bit iffy. Then now you got Madison is like, we don't know where is he at the moment. We don't see that creativity coming in. Okay, and there's one thing also I'm pissed off with, right? This summer window, Tottenham Hotspur, please go get, right, a midfielder, right, who can actually score goals from free kick position. Not even a midfielder. Get somebody who actually can put free kicks into the back of the net. You get what I'm saying?
We missed out on Ward-Prowse in summer, so
You're talking about players with the Ericsson ilk, right? Who else that used to do the midfield job for us, putting us goals in there?
Modric.
Right? Modric, Kranjčar.
Kranjčar was actually underrated. Actually, we like Kranjčar.
Kranjčar used to put them back into the back of the net too. Those type of players who can actually put it into the back of the net. We need that kind of players because it will give your opponents a certain kind of fear, right? They know that they are not supposed to make any fouls within a certain distance of.
You get
what I'm saying? So now Spurs, right, after taking away Harry Kane, we've become a limp-dick team. Sorry to say that, but some once in a while you get semi-erected because Song is on.
I think Stelz mentioned that we solved the defense. We bought like a midfield sort of, also Madison. We went slightly big on that, I guess. I think we went big, but we went to the attack and went really cheap. We haven't spent anything on the attack. Okay, we got Johnson, but Johnson was like a last day signing, wasn't he? Deadline day, I think.
Yeah, I know. But sorry. I mean, at this moment in time, pitying Ange, right? Because he has to pick the players in front of him. It could be, you were like saying that in the preview show, right? Is it maybe Ange reached to this level? Now he's got a different level kind of players that he has to manage. Because you're talking about you're at the highest level of the competitions in the football hierarchy, right? So all these players will think that, oh, I'm playing the Premier League, I'm king of the world, right? Yeah, my balls are bigger than your balls, right? So
my balls are bigger than your balls.
Yeah, nowadays we don't want to go to other kinds of measurements and all that, right? So it'd be a bit offensive. So let's measure the balls. Right. So in there, like you said, that's like I'm saying, maybe to Ange, everything now is a learning curve. You know what I'm saying? Right? What you're saying now. And it's a learning curve for all our squad players too, because the way they've been playing, right? Like I said, are the players tired or burnt out? There could be a possibility to it.
The reason I bring this up, Eugene, is because in the preview show, we obviously on Spurs Kings TV, me, Harry, and TJ discussed this, and I brought up the point that in Klopp's first 2 seasons, they used to burn out in January because of the intensity.
Yeah.
Eventually, he changed it because he probably realized they can't play this way 24/7.
And then he got replacements to come in to
and he got a squad that helped.
Yeah, he got a squad,
but
right?
I think they kind of changed slightly their style, and even Poch, I think, realized this too because he kind of adjusted slightly. We weren't playing this as much high press as we were before because the players were quite. I think the players were quite tired. But if you mentioned Dele Alli made comments about his legs, remember saying, "Oh, he I can't remember what it was. He made some comment saying he couldn't run as much." But so, do you think Ange just burnt these players out?
If he has, right, it's for him to find out what kind of players he has in his hands, right, and how to manage it properly in the next coming season, right? In the way you play nowadays, and the worst part is that somehow or another football games have now become even longer, right? Maybe that's also part of that burn-up thing, and then the stop-start, the stop-startness of football games now. This is not like continuous movement because you got VAR, blah blah blah, right? It'll take you 10, 20 minutes just to decide whether your balls have crossed the line or not. So right. So you come to this type of situation. Each game now prolongs to about 100 minutes averagely, right? We know that. So that could be part of it too. And players getting burned out to a certain extent is that we don't have enough in our squad depth to cover what's happening. And the quality drops. This is the result you get. In players coming back from injury, push into the limelight too quickly. We see that too, right? Bentancur was used in this way. That's why maybe Bentancur isn't fully fit yet. That's why he's not fully fit yet, and he can't do what he wants to do. And what to do? You like then why? Then the question will come that you haven't actually fully rotated the squad yet, right? There are players like Emerson Royale, Ben Davis, right? Brian Hill, okay. Who else do you have? Right? Højbjerg and all that. Skippy, they should be playing more. Then the question is, when you play these players, you see the drop off in the quality, then you'll be like this now, right? 2 weeks of despair. Again, being bantered by the opposition clubs and all that. Look at Spurs. Yeah, back where you are again. Like I've been saying a lot, right? Congratulations, welcome to Tottenham Hotspur. We got our Tottenham Hotspur back. Yay.
Yeah, like Levy said, we got our Spurs back.
Yeah, yay. Big up to Daniel Levy. Please get out of our club.
Yeah.
Now to tell the truth, right? If next season, right, we don't see the improvement and the change, right? And if our fan base don't understand what's happening, to see that our owners, right, don't care about trophies. They just want money, and right, they just want money. And your money, my money, our money, right?
The cost of the football shirts nowadays is insane.
Yeah, I know.
It's actually insane. I can't believe they cost that much.
Yeah. The thing is that if you,
it's actually
I'm going to ask you, Has, yesterday, right? You went out to the game. How much did you spend on food, transport? You don't even talk about it. Okay, because you're a season ticket holder. That amount is paid up.
That's enough in itself. Yeah. But so hold on. So £10 plus the, I don't know, petrol, but I don't know, £10, and then we didn't buy anything. No, just the drinks in the stadium. I didn't buy the drinks. My dad bought. So that was £10, I think, altogether, or something like that. Plus,
no, it depends, right? When you bring in beer,
the parking was £25.
Yeah,
about 50 quid. Let's just say 50 quid. If you include the petrol there and back.
Yeah, just your expenses of stepping into the stadium.
Plus the stadium ticket itself. I don't know. I can't remember because it's a season ticket. Right? I don't really know. You have to divide it, I guess.
Divided by how many games you go to. Home games, right? Home games is 19 games
a season.
You get about 20 games a season. Yeah. If you're paying £1,000 for the season ticket,
no, more than that.
More than that?
Yeah, it's
5,000 quid.
No.
Well, you've got the good seats, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't get to choose them though, Eugene. I wasn't even there when it happened. So.
No, Daddy done. Daddy did everything for you.
Well, he's been a season ticket holder for 40 years. I don't know, something crazy like that. I don't know. Because they invited him to pick.
If you're sitting low, right, you can see the pitch level.
It's like in the middle-ish. But yeah.
Not way up in the skies. So.
No, not in the skies. No. Yeah. So like where I sit, I can see Ange and going Nilk. Because I was watching. What I'd like to do is I watch what the managers do a lot during the game. So I noticed that Ange shakes his head a lot when a decision goes against us. He'll just shake his head. He doesn't really like when Conte was here. It was brilliant because you could see him screaming at the players. He would go like this, and I remember one game, this first game, Reguilon was playing on the left wing back, and what I noticed the most is that Conte was like screaming at him, wide, and Reguilon was just,
and Reguilon keeps coming in.
Yeah. And because Conte was so animated, Ange isn't very animated. But also, I noticed Gary O'Neill, what he was telling his players in terms of the shape. For example, like I think they were attacking a 3-4-3, but defending in a 3-5-2. That's what I noticed. Yeah. He kept saying like this and this and this, and then he was saying them push here, push that. Because it's interesting to watch that sort of thing. Because you kind of learn, I guess. Yeah.
But Ange doesn't do much. He doesn't say much. He just shakes his head, right? He won't see him waving around, shouting at you, pointing left or right. He'll just shake his head. His arms always folded, right? Whenever he stands.
Yeah, he just goes like this.
He just goes like that. Every time. And if it's good, he'll smile, and then he'll go like that. And then,
but do you think that's a bad thing? Because a lot of these top managers, you see, like Klopp is very animated, Pep is crazy animated.
Yeah, that's why they burn out, right?
Arteta, even though I don't like him, he's more animated.
I don't know. It's a different type of manager. Sooner or later, if Ange gets angry and frustrated enough, then he'll get animated.
He'll break and turn into like
And then if that part comes out of it, then that will shock everybody at Spurs.
Yeah.
That's
what I'm saying. As far as I know, I don't think that will happen because apparently his belief is you tell the players, and then not telling them on the pitch will make a difference.
Ange belief is that he follows responsibility. He's responsible for all things happen, but you 26 players, right, are responsible that what's happening onto the pitch, right? I've already told you and taught you what to do, all right? And if you can't do that, if you can't program it in your mind to do that, then you are not my type of player. That's why players like that go out.
Well, we'll see. If Emerson stay next summer, then we know that.
But some players, like we've been saying, like, how did Eric Dyer how could Eric Dyer have been able to stay at Spurs for nearly 10 years, right? By doing such a shitty job.
That's a big question to answer, to be honest.
Yeah, for such a shitty job. And then when Ange came along, then given a chance to prove himself, and then he's still shitty. So in that day, he's gone to Bayern Munich to make it even more shittier.
I mean, Bayern Munich doesn't look like going to win anything this season.
That's why I don't know. If you watch the earlier,
maybe Kane will come back.
Jens has got another guest with him called Simon, right? Simon says that Harry Kane is cursed. So
I just think you can't take the Tottenham out of player sometimes. Like you can leave Spurs, you can't take Tottenham.
It's bad enough if you got one ex-Spurs player in there and it's cursed, right? And then you bring Dyer who's shit. So now you're cursed shit.
Twice. It's a double curse, basically. It's just ironic because Kane went there to win trophies. If he doesn't win one, that'll be the biggest.
But he's got how many? 4 years to prove it. So what's the big deal?
Yeah. But then apparently there's rumors that Tuchel might get sacked. And Jose apparently is learning German. My dad told me he's learning German now. So
it's good to see Jose. And
but if Jose goes back, does he Dyer and Kane?
No, I mean I think Jose goes back. When he see Kane, he'll be happy. When he sees Dyer, right? You're on loan, right? Good. That'll be it.
He's not on loan though. It's permanent. Oh, he's on loan. You're right.
He's on loan. It's an option to purchase because his contract ends end of the summer. So when his loan deal finishes, he becomes a free agent. Whether Bayern wants to sign him is depending on whether the next manager who comes in thinks that Dyer is worth signing. Right?
He's basically gone now, Dyer, because it's a 1 year loan and it's his last year. So
it's basically gone. Wherever he's going to go, right? But like we were saying, right? Our tires burn out. Of course, our players are burned out. Our entire squad, right? Actually, how many new players are there? How many old players are there, right? And those group of old players, right, have been played in a certain way, which is not this way. So for them, their body to adapt to this way, it will take time. Number one, right? And then with the injuries coming in, big up, JJ, right?
Hey, JJ, you're right, mate. He's always there. Big up, JJ.
Yeah, big up. Right. And with the injuries coming in, right? And the thing is that you gel, you break up, then you try to gel back again, then you break up again. So we are fractured in so many departments and all that. So we're trying to gel back again. While we're trying to gel back again, our defense break up again, right? So let's see how that happens. This 2 weeks, whether it's going to be a blessing, right, for us, whether we get
probably less stress actually, Eugene. I'll probably enjoy the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, big up, JJ. Right, but then the thing is that you got 2 weeks rest now. See what kind of training schedule would Ange give the players, or would Ange tell Son, go take 3 days off, right? Settle your head, right? Your fingers and all that. Go and settle the Korean drama that you have in your life.
I know there's even drama going on. So yeah.
For all you know, that's why Son is distracted because
you know
Korean dramas, right? There already shows in Korean dramas.
I didn't know.
So, yeah, most probably.
Eugene, there was a lot of the Korean, probably the most I've ever seen at the stadium yesterday, because Wang Chan was playing as well. I think that's the reason.
You get
there were three in front of me, sitting in front of me. Like I don't know if it was a guy and his wife or something, and their son or some daughter. I can't remember, but they had literally whenever Son got the ball, it was like this.
Okay.
And then they probably didn't like the fact that I was like saying Son is finished. Son is. Like I was like, take him on, and then he had a lot of instances yesterday where he lost the ball to Semedo. I'm sorry, Semedo had Son in his pocket like the whole game. And
every Wolves player had each of our players in their pockets.
But like Son just couldn't take on a player. He was just so bad, and they were you could tell they're really unhappy about it. And then they could hear me just cursing in the background, basically.
No, the Koreans are proud people, right? So.
And I remember one instance where Emerson lost the ball, and I got up and I was like, "Get him off the pitch! He's right. How's he doing?" To be fair, though, my friend does that too. Like he does that with Skip. Like I remember we went one game, and then we were trying to see out the game. I can't remember what game it was, but Skip kicked the ball up in the air, like as to clear it. It was such a bad kick. My friend gets up like, we have the same rubbish players every season. They're still here. He's like, get rid of them. And it was so funny. But we're the only people in our stand who are like this, really. I don't know.
Okay. Let me see. You're in a very Levian stand.
Unfortunately. Yeah. It's got to the point, Eugene, when the person in front of me, there used to be like he comes a dad with his sons. Anyway, obviously I go with my dad, right? But he moved so far away because of what happened one game. I can't remember what game it was, but every 5 minutes I was getting up. I was cursing the referee. I was saying this player off. I think it was with Eric Dyer. I think I got one game and I was like, Dyer used to just whack it out. Do you remember? He used to just whack it out like needlessly.
And he won't go far either when he whacks it out.
5 minutes into the game, he did it. I got up and I was like, get him off the pitch. He's rubbish. Get him out of the club. And I think the guy just heard enough. And in the second half, he moved away. Since then, he hasn't been back.
Yeah,
they have the whole row.
If they have the whole row, right? You see, the problem with Spurs fans is that the ambition is in a different direction. Because when you're talking at your level, right? If your season ticket costs about 2,500 quid, right? Where entitles you to the hospitality lounge and all that, and then you have a family that has a whole row of tickets, right?
Imagine what kind of money they are. By this logic, shouldn't we be demanding more? Or is it just me that thinks this way?
No. The thing is that these type of people, right? They're going out there as a family. They have their kids around, right? You wouldn't be nice if the dad was standing there and saying, "You get on," like.
Yeah, but I go with my dad, and he curses like all the time. So what's the difference?
No, but how old are you? If the child is 10 years old, and you see
my dad was doing it since I was in the old White Hart Lane.
Bro, you're in the wrong era of time. You're in the woke era now, bro.
Huh?
No, you're in the woke era. You understand? You're in a different era. When you were growing up in those days, when you're talking about what 20 years ago, those were the days. The other generation is, they don't give a shit about you. That's why they're doing it, and that's why it's gone down into you. You get what I'm saying? It's transferred. That version. Yeah. So that I guess you wouldn't want. Depending. Imagine if you bring your child, right, who's 10-year-old kid, right, and then you are there cursing. Imagine when he becomes an adult, he brings his child, he'll be doing the same thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But to be fair, also,
if you can afford the whole row of seats in front of you, imagine what kind of fans we have.
Even though I've been West since I've been like Spurs, obviously I have no choice. I'm just born, and I was taught to go to Spurs games, so the West. It's not me picking. Oh, I want to sit there, and I'm nothing.
It's a family obligation.
Yeah. But as in, like, I'm not. Also, like, it's brilliant seats, Eugene. Like, if you come and I ever have a spare ticket, like, you can see literally everything. And it's always been like that. The old White Hart Lane, we sat the same place. We could see literally everything. But the person sitting next to me, to be fair to him, he's come with his mate, and he used to curse a lot. And then he'll come with his daughter. You mentioned about the daughter and he'd be like well behaved for like most of the game.
Yeah, you can't see daddy cursing and all that thing, right? Yeah, he was different.
Like I remember the other week, right, with the referee. I'm sure I used to C-word at him about 3 or 4 times because the decisions were so bad. I was like, you, God. Or like when the decisions go against us and I just don't really agree, I get up like, what is this? Hey, we got Harry.
Yeah. He's Harry too. I forget.
But so I was telling Harry about it, and he's like, "I can't imagine you like this." But I'm like, "You haven't seen me watch a football match, so you don't really know."
More or less, this is what I call the old school football fans. Yes. The old school football fans. Yeah. All right.
I understand what you're saying about the woke thing. Shall I tell you why? Because I was having a discussion with an Arsenal fan at my work the other week. We were talking about Sol Campbell. Okay. I can't actually repeat any of these chants. I'll probably get cancelled. So we used to sing certain chants about Sol Campbell and flying he was like this and flying he had this. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. And we were saying, and I told him the chants that he didn't actually know what they actually were saying. Like he'll probably hear them on the TV because he's around like 29. So he heard them, but he didn't know what they were saying. So I explained to him the chants, and I go to him, if I sang this today, I'd get kicked out of the stadium.
Yeah, I know.
But back in the 90s and 2000s, people used to sing them all the time. It was fine. Because people didn't treat it as though they were being racist. It was just a chant.
Yeah,
and because the player was
the
player was a Judas, obviously. I mean, let's be honest. And so, like, it was different back then. People just accept it as, like, not as it was a joke, but as in... not that these people are racist.
It's part of the football culture.
Yeah, the culture. It's not like we've been racist. I'm a racist person because I'm singing this song. It's just as part of the culture.
You are racist.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. You're live. Can't let this.
Imagine tomorrow, YouTube gets like cancelled. But anyway, so I was saying the lyrics to the songs, and he was like, "Yeah, you're right. If you sang this, you get kicked out of the stadium."
Oh,
but in
oh dear, that's bad.
Yeah. But my dad actually went. I wasn't old enough at the time, but my dad actually went to the game when Campbell came back, and he told me it was one of the most vicious atmospheres they've ever been to in a football match. When they had the banners and they had the chants, obviously, and
yeah. But they still because that's why.
But I actually met Campbell when I was a kid, but I was very young. And he told me he was staying, just so you guys know. And then
he's regretted it. I mean, to tell the truth, right? That scenario was very simple. If he was just honest, right, he wouldn't have played it into such a bad scenario. You get what I'm saying?
But we thought he was going to Milan, I remember. Was it Milan?
No, if he was honest, it wouldn't be such a bad thing.
Yeah.
I think he regrets it today, right? Because he still talks about it. Why the fans still so angry at it, right? So my answer to him is, bro, if you were honest, right?
Yeah.
What do you mean by is this football sustainable? Yeah.
Did you punch him in the face or not, JJ? Okay. But as in the sense, because we've spoken about how it's burnt out the players, how a lot of other managers sussed him out. Do you think in the long run it's sustainable? Because I was watching Kate's show before we started. I was watching her show for like a bit after Tottenham on tour, and she was saying if this time next year, she thinks Levy will pull the trigger with the same performances. So what do you think? Do you think it's going to last?
Okay, to tell the truth, right? Depending on what do you mean by this type of football sustainable, right? Whether you think it's sustainable in the style that we're playing or sustainable in the results that we're getting.
Both, I guess, in the sense that.
But then if the players, we are talking about something into the future.
Right. Yeah.
Right. You're talking about something into the future. We still do not know the summer transfer window, right? If you are talking about from now until the end of the season, whether it's still sustainable, because if Levy pulls the trigger, right, because he starts to crash and he loses every single game until the end of the season, and we drop down to 15, 16, right? I can tell you he'll get the sack because number one, the objective is to get into Europe. If he can't even meet that objective, we won't talk about Champions League football. Let's say Europe at the moment, right? He will get sacked. We know that, right? Because our board won't take that. We need the money to pay for the stadium.
And what do we need the other concerts for and the F1 for then?
That they don't make a lot of money from, right? So according to the books.
Beyonce concerts, the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
I don't know.
Usually I've not been to any non-footballing event at the stadium ever.
It's okay. I've never even been to the stadium, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, but as in, Eugene, what will conflict me as a person if someone like N-Dubs was at the stadium, because obviously N-Dubs. Do you not know who N-Dubs are? It was this band back in they got back together last year. They were N-Dubs. Just search N-DUBZ after this. Anyway, they're British. They're Greek. Basically, they're Greek. It's like a rap / R&B band. They were massive back when I was in secondary school, like 09, 08. Those, and they got back together. But if they ever did a concert at Spurs, I'll be conflicted because I don't know if I want to pay to pay Levy to go to another to an event.
I know
because I haven't paid for anything since then. I haven't gone to any non-footballing event on purpose. I don't want to pay.
I know that's good for you, right? No, don't want to put the money into his pocket. That's a good thing. But I say whether this
I have bought a shirt. I have bought a shirt since White Hart Lane.
All my shirts are, everything you see here is,
Yeah. Legal. Don't worry, it's fine.
So, yeah. No, but the thing is that we say is the football sustainable? The football sustainable to a certain extent, right? No matter how, we will still have to stick with him until the end of the season. Even if we become 15, 16, or 18, right? But at the moment now, it's that, like I keep saying, I don't have expectations of what Spurs is going to turn out to be. The only thing is he's given us hope because of the style of football and the position that we are in. We're fifth in the league now, right? A lot of us would have taken this, right, at any time. Wouldn't you have said that, okay, Ange is here, we are fifth in the league? I would have taken it, right? I wouldn't say it would be a bad season either.
but I don't really care at this point.
Yeah, the tell we don't care.
Because even if we made fourth place, we know that he isn't going to spend. So what's?
That's why the thing is that my question to you is that, right? Is the football sustainable? Right? Will the fans still take it, accept it, right? Or will there be a big hoo-ha, inch out and all that and blah blah blah, right? Instead of the actual person supposed to go after, no, he's safe, right? The person who's supposed to take responsibility, right? The person who brought engine, right? He never takes responsibility, right? So, but the thing is that, for me, is that if things get real bad and football, the style of football is not sustainable because he's not getting the type of players he needs and all that. I mean, I told you the last show, right? I expect Ange to walk. If he is,
I hope he walks. Radical, I hope he walks. But
yeah, a person with such integrity and the way he speaks, right? Because I keep telling, I keep saying this because I see it in the way how Ange manages the football club. I mean, the football side, and he wants it to be like a family and understanding. Everybody works for each other, right? And there's no you, me, or I, right? It's a team. So, and on top of that team, there's one person responsible, and it's me, right? And it doesn't include the people who's in management and all that, because this is the football side, right? So I will make the football decision. If you give me the players I want, right?
Succeed, yeah.
Then I'll succeed. Because to tell the truth, right, at this time, because whatever press conference comes up, whenever they talk about the transfers, right, Ange has always said the same thing, right? Without my approval, the player doesn't walk through the door. So that means he's taking responsibility for the players too. So a lot of people say, Timo Werner, is he worth it? Of course he's worth it, because it's zero, right? Ange would have said, Lange or Levy or told Ange, right? It's either Werner or zero. So that time Son wasn't around.
He had to get someone in.
We needed the pair of legs to run down the left. Would you say no?
No,
would you, as the manager with a logical mind, would you say no? I would say yes.
Yeah.
I would say yes.
It's like with Pochettino with Sissoko. Got to the last day, and they went to panic bought Sissoko because apparently Poch said that it was either Sissoko or nothing. I think he said something like that.
And of course, Ange's management style is that he's not here to rock the boat.
Yeah, you know? He just.
It wasn't like Conte last season, right? Conte will come and says, "This is a club signing."
He said that with Jen Spence, remember?
Yeah. It's not my wishes for Spence to be here. It's the club signed him. And look at poor Jet Spence. If he would have stuck on to Middlesbrough and then get transferred to, he might have done well he might have done well with Forest, and maybe instead of buying Johnson, we would have bought him last year when he performed better in the Premier League, or he would have flopped.
We bought Gibbs White instead.
Yeah, and then we wouldn't have bought him at all. But decisions were made, right? And then to tell the truth, right, who was so adamant to get Spence in? He worked so hard.
Mr. Levy. Mr. Levy.
Yeah. So my question is why?
But we wasted. Was it 20 million or was it 50 million?
15 with another 5.
It was pointless.
Harry, how many millions have we wasted on players?
No, we did that with Jack Clark as well. We signed Jack Clark.
Troy Parrott,
Nkudu was the Levy signing.
NG, Ndombele, all the N's that comes in.
Yeah.
Right. So sorry. You understand? Just.
No. Yeah, he's just joking. Guys, I don't want to get cancelled because of that.
Yeah. So whatever happens is that sustainable or not sustainable. We all hope it is, right? I know that
it is sustainable, but you need to have I'm not joking. You need to have 24 players of the same quality.
Actual quality 24 players. Yes, we do.
Because if yesterday, like you said, we had Udogie and Porro, you could do the inverted whatever, and you probably would have won the game. Because I think Porro, I look at the Neto thing with Emerson, you could argue Porro could have maybe stopped Neto because he had. To tell the
truth, right? If we had Udogie and Porro, right, Udogie and VDV would have handled Neto in that scenario. Yes. Would have handled that scenario better, and you wouldn't have Emerson Royale as the holding center back there. It would have been either Romero or VDV. It's because that game we had to push ourselves to the extent is that we kept the most useless person in attack to be in attack, but in then that the most useless person who couldn't attack couldn't defend either. So, bye-bye.
Bye, Emerson.
That's my solution. Bye-bye. Right? Get a replacement, or find some youth to come in to start the preseason or something. Maybe, we've been linked to a few youths, right? We've already bought a few youths, if I'm not mistaken. Right?
Marcus Duval. Is it Marcus Duval?
Lucas Berval.
Is it Lucas? Why do I think his name was Marcus on there?
Lucas.
Yeah, Lucas.
Yeah. But it is what it is. We lost, right? And I've been saying all this while, from now until the next 13 games, right, it's going to be a roller coaster, right? Because you see a very good side of Spurs in certain games, right, when they click, and then you see a really shitty side of Spurs in certain games, right? And let's hope, right, we turn up in the easy games dominantly, and hopefully we become shitty when we play the big four or whatever. Because if you were shitty against the weaker teams and good against the bigger teams, you might not still win. You get what I'm saying?
I don't really want to talk about Palace in the stream because that's like 2 weeks away.
Yeah,
it's not really worth talking about.
Not worth talking about Palace, right? Because we don't even know whether. Okay, sorry to all the Palace fans out there, because what I heard is at the moment Roy Hodgson is actually in hospital, right? Yeah. So maybe that could be a way of actually ending his contract, right? So yeah, and maybe he goes on gardening leave and let the new manager comes in to take over where Palace is, or whether maybe he'll be fit enough to come back into the dugout, right, for the Spurs game. If he isn't, then there'll be a manager, a managerless, Palace coming to Spurs.
Interim, yeah. Well, not interim.
No, if you sack someone, the caretaker or the assistant manager will take over for Roy Hodgson.
Yeah, whoever it is.
Settling his health issues, right? But Palace game is too far away. We do not know whether by the time Udogie is fit to come back, and Porro is fit to come back, right, to play that game. But maybe Udogie would be, because after 1 week he gets a rest, and he can start training again. But the thing is, for Porro, if it's a 1 week thing, right, let it be a 1 week thing. But I wouldn't rush him back, because players with muscle injury and all that, it tends to repeat itself.
Okay, so Eugene, where can we find you next?
Spurs Vision TV, right? The only Malaysian Spurs channel at the moment. Most probably I'll try to do a show with Chang somewhere next week, whether it's in the middle or end of the week, Friday, because the truth, Spurs is not playing. What are we going to talk about? Are we still going to wallow in this kind of
despair
and despair, and is the manager good enough? Are the players good enough? Right.
But we're kind of used to it, Eugene, though.
My question now is, right, are the fans good enough? Okay, and is the and are the owners good enough? All right, guys. Right. What do we fans want? Right.
Trophies.
I want trophies. Has want trophies, but certain fans don't need trophies. You know what I'm saying? They just want to enjoy the journey.
But also, apparently, before Levy, Spurs used to win a cup every 5 years. So
yeah. We haven't picked up a cup in 16 years.
15 years. 15, 16 years now.
16 years now. It is what it is. All right. But don't forget, guys, like, subscribe, Spurs Vision TV, Hasper TV, and as always, BV out.